moving it in order to get it away so that she could put the diaper. She's moving it in order because it smells, and she's putting it into the bag. So when she goes straight from there to put it straight into the bag, so then that's going to be considered l'chayra, moving the graf sharei to get rid of the smell. That's what I told her. That's what I told her then. It's good. It's a good answer. It's good. What? Oh, the problem is, so I asked this weights, and how do you get them from there to out of the house, right? I get out of the house. She's what? Some children are miyuchid and packet their smell. They don't have this problem. And Yiddish nachis is the chalvin taket. Yeah. Let's say that, the Kalluses they don't smell the chalv. Right? So now, so she said in Chanami, I told her that if a taket doesn't smell in Chanami, you have no head to move it from that area. Now, if you have it in a place where if you do it in the middle of the kitchen, in the middle of the living room, it could be the machus of the thing itself is a miyastik izach and eating it. And you might, if I'm saying, let's say doing it by changing table or something like that, and it's not smell, it's in Chanami. If it's stand there in Chanami, you're right. Very good. It's very 2 for 2. Very good. What? Yeah, I'm saying, for each case, you have to done. I'm saying, but at least, so you see that, so I gave myself last night $200. Not cool, but okay. Next. So it's like this. The mokim. Again, the Oilam was asking me after their shir is there. If the kid is flapping around and whatever, for shteitzach, that'll be a graph. The ikar problem is when it's a newborn and things like that the baby doesn't move that much. Right? That's where the ikar problem was. The Oilam was saying when it's a total newborn, so he doesn't have soya. He has this mustard-looking stuff. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. What? Now we're going to talk about that's a different shayla about oisin graf sharei lechatchila. That we're going to learn in this. No, so we're going to see the putting it there is not my issue. The issue is afterward. Once it's there, you let it move. No, my case was that she said now it's in the nappy sack so it doesn't smell. Nappy's like a diaper, right? Again, there's no question you could take off the diaper. There's no question you put it like this. Our question was, how do I move it over? I'm not moving it because of the smell, because it smells over there also. The derech is not going to help you to move muksa. It's a derech to drive. There's no heter to drive. I'm not doing anything. When I take the peel, I didn't do anything. Now, the question is how you're going to move the peel. That's afterwards. Next one. Akapanim, that's that. Next is Rabbi said, the makim of graf shalrei. There's a big sugya. Let's try and figure this out. What is the makim? This is, you should know, one of the harder, at least besides the diyukim and the mishabura, and it's one of the harder parts in the mishabura. What is considered the makim of the graf shalrei? What do I mean? You look in the Shulchan Aruch. In the Shulchan Aruch says that what's the makim of the graf sharei? So Shulchan Aruch says in Sif Lamed Gimel Dalet, Shulchan Aruch says if it's a place that you're darsham, listen closely. I want to try and clarify. This is at the end of the shir yesterday. It wasn't clear, but dafka because it's difficult. The Shulchan Aruch says if you're darsham, so then that has the heter of graf sharei. Dar. What's lashon dar in the chatzar? If it's a chatzar shedarsham, what's lashon yoshvin sham, right? Yoshvin ba. Then you have a heter of graf. Then he says, but if it's a chatzah that you're not darsham, ain't a darsham. So he says yoshvim and dar. So it's very hard. What is this? When do I have a heter of a graf sharei? If it's a place that it's mamish, I hang out there. It sounds like I do have a heter of graf sharei. If it's a place that I don't hang out there, it sounds like I don't have a heter of graf sharei. What is this? What's this agdara? I showed you yesterday Mishnah Berurah and Sivkot and Kuf Memalev says a lashon that you bring the chair there, you bring the table there. It sounds very aggressive. It sounds like in order to get the heter of graf sharei, it's got to be a place where not just am dreitzach. It has to be that you remain there. He remains there. He sits there. He rests there. Not just he's walking past it. That's what the mashmaya says a little bit. The Shabura brings that he has to sit there and sleep there and bed there and whatever, all types of interesting things, right? That's what the Mishabura sounds like. Mitzad Sheni, it's a big problem because the Mishabura and Sivkot in Kuf Lamed Aleph, this was the big stira. I didn't ask it as a stira, but now I'll show you what the problem is. In Kuf Lamed Aleph, the Mishabura seems to tell me that that's in fact, that's not enough. That's in fact that I hang out, that I'm motzi there. It's got to be that this is the place where he sits. The Mishabura talked about bringing a bed. The Mishabura talked about bringing a ankle, a chair, a table, whatever. The ganze mice. I've got the ganze tish, a rebbesh tish over there. That's one Mishabura. And you know what? What to do with the Shulchan Aruch? Maybe that's what the Shulchan Aruch sounds like. I don't know. Does anybody know? Shulchan Aruch says Yoshvin ba, And then he says, what's the flip side? But if it's in a chutzner, eino darsham, what's eino darsham? Eino darsham means what? It's not the opposite of yoshvim. The opposite of yoshvim is not yoshvim, it's mesubin, right? The opposite of yoshvim is walking there. But the Mishabura says, the Shulchan says, the chutzner where he's not darsham. And then you look in the Mishabura and he makes it worse. He says, bein shu chutzner acheres or achrei abatim. He makes all these far out cases. So there's a lot in between. I have a place that I sit there. I have a place that I have no shaykhs to. And I once in a blue moon walk there. And then I have a lot of things. I have places that I actually walk by. So what's the Agdara? What's Agdara? You understand the Baya? And I'll make it worse. The Mishabura and this is where we ended the shir yesterday. Mishabura and Sivkat and Kuflam and Aleph, the Mishabura over there, he talks about the Chatzeiros. He says, Hainu Darim Sham, he's explaining. Kimoy the Chatzeiros that are the Fnei Abatim, which is a Makim Drisas Haregel. Makim Drisas Haregel. So over there, they were matter L'kvaydei to move it away. He says, Hu Adin Imunach in the Mavi b'Makim the Drisas Haregel. Drisas Haregel. Okay. So I saw those. They want to say there's a sefer, the Megillah Sefer, and he wants to say maybe Makim of Drisas Haregel is a reference to that he's actually going to step in it. He's actually going to step in it. It's not the way place can write Drisas Haregel. It's not the pshat. The pshat in Drisas Haregel, it's what you find in the Sugis and Baba Basra. Also, Drisas Haregel means it's a place that he walks by. He walks there. That's the words. Drisas Haregel is a place, not that he's going to step in it and whatever. And even though it says afterward, he's mitzalkin l'tzdadim, he says, if you get into a place, if there's tzayer or whatever, all these dreadful things, in a place where it's your Drisas Haregel, so Mishabura says, then you have a heter l'tzalkin l'tzdadim. If it's in your Drisas Regel, you have a heter to move it to the side. So what does it mean? The Pashup Shot. That's not Pashup Shot. The Pashup Shot is that if this is a place that I walk, it's a path that I take. So now you're not going to be allowed to take it and go to the garbage. All you're allowed to do is get it to a place of where it's no longer a graf sharei. So move it to the side and no longer is a graf sharei. If a person's walking down the street and on the side of the sidewalk, whatever, all the way on the side is tzayah, it doesn't bother anybody. Okay, so that's a chiddush in the Mishnah Berurah that you're not allowed to go and start carrying it around. You're allowed to just move it away. Mistalkel sudden. That's the Mishnah Berurah. That's what it says over here. So Memela, so now it sounds like that. Let's see. That I'm not in my chutzner and my mavoi b'kfiyas, right? It's a place where I walk past it. I don't sit there for sure not. It's my Drisas Regel. So now it sounds like Drisas Regel is enough. Okay, so is everybody confused? It's not so clear, right? Is it Drisas Regel, which is what it sounds like in the Mishnah Berurah? Is it I need to actually be sitting there? Is it, so what's the Agdara? Okay, that's where we ended yesterday. It could be. All these things could be a difference. It could be. But Akapanim, let's see. Let's try and figure this out. Let's go one by one. Let's try and figure this out here. The Gemara in Eruvin on Daf Kuf Daled, again, this I mentioned yesterday. The Gemara in Eruvin on Daf Kuf Daled talks about when you found something dreadful in the Beis HaMikdash. A dreadful little rodent or some other a raccoon or some dreadful creature over there, a dead one, a murdered one, right? And there he is in the middle of the Beis HaMikdash. The Meiri on the sugi over there in Daf Kuf Daled says that sugi in Kuf Daled, a complicated sugi over there. The sugi goes, it's maybe Ein Shvus B'Mikdash and whatever. The Meiri says, but you should know if we would have the same case b'Medina, we'd have the same case not in the Beis HaMikdash. So then he says, it wouldn't be a Graf Sharei. Because he said the Beis HaMikdash is an example of a place that nobody sits there and convey themselves there. You don't sit in the Beis HaMikdash. You don't hang out in the Beis HaMikdash. You just walk by. So Miri says explicitly, if you have a place that you don't that much sit there and bekfiyas there, so then that's already not going to be considered a graf shalrei. That's not considered a graf shalrei because you don't sit there. In other words, in the Beis HaMikdash is a separate heter of a graf shalrei of Ein Shvus B'Mikdash. The same case. Why do you have to come on, says the Miri, to the heter of Ein Shvus B'Mikdash? Typically, to that, it's a Graf Sharei, says, because it's not a Graf Sharei. It's only a Graf Sharei. Again, the same idea. The Fidas Malach, the Miri says, it's got to be pleased that you're kavua there. So I saw one sefer, he says, a shul, there's no heter of Graf Sharei. The Fidas Miri, he brings this Miri. I didn't say the Miri yesterday, because I didn't know the Miri yesterday. So the Miri, this sefer writes, the Miri, he brings this Miri, he says, so the Fidas, a shul, there's no reason why you should have a heter in a shul of a graf sharei. It's no different than the Beis HaMikdash. That's what he writes. Now, the Maisa, it's not so simple. We saw yesterday that the Tiferes Yisrael in Hey, the Tiferes Yisrael says, it's not only in the Beis HaMikdash that you have this case of the Sheretz. He says, even in a place like Ezras Nashim, You'd have a heter. That's he writes there in Talmud Hey. He says, you know why? Because even in the Ezras Nashim, and he writes these words, even though people aren't really found so much in the Ezras Nashim, they're not so much found there. There's not so much kriyas. He says that would also have a heter of a graf shel rei. That's the words he seems to say. I mentioned yesterday, he seems to say that even in a place where you're not so commonly found. Now let's categorize. Let's try and figure this out. Let's see. Our shuls today are used as batei midrashim. To say it on our shuls is almost tamua. I mean, our shuls are based midrashim. The Shach says in Yeridea, we put a mezuzah on a base medrash. Even though in the time of Chazal, they didn't put mezuzahs on base knesses because nobody actually eats there, nobody hangs out there, you just daven there and you leave. But our shuls are all used as batei midrashim. People live there, they hang out there, they eat there, they everything there. That's what they do. I mean, there's things they should be doing. They shouldn't be doing that, but they do a lot inside our base midrashim. So by me, it's not even a shaila. Our base medrash is definitely a mokim that a person has a kfiyas. And I don't think that there's any reason to believe it's totally if you own the place, don't own the place. It's tamuah. You have a person that could be learning 4 hours in the afternoon on the Shabbos afternoon. It's almost been a nimda to even theorize such a thing, that there wouldn't be a heter of a graf shel rei in a base medrash, in a place that you put a mezuzah on. If the Mishnah Berurah tells me that where is your drisas regel in a place where it's normal for you to go and be, and then walk by all the time. So then certainly no shaila in the world that a base medrash l'chayra does have the heter of graf shel rei. Very negay, right? You have something dreadful in a base medrash. So he brings from one of the gedolei at door that told him that it can't be. I don't know. That he said there's no heter in a. It can't be. There's no point in saying it. L'chayra base medrash does have a heter l'chayra. But let's go now. What? I told you, he's trying to say, even if you wouldn't have inchvas. I'm trying not to get into the sugya. It's a little bit complicated when we apply it, but like in the Ezras Nashim over there, that's what he talks about. That's it's complicated. That part's hard. But let's go tachas. Adkan is the shir from yesterday, okay? So if you ask me, it seems to me any place which is kavua definitely has the heter of graf shel rei. Any place which is drisas regel, he walks by. So there's a Mishnah Berurah that does give me something. He gives me something. But he doesn't give me so much. He tells me l'salko l'tztadim. All I let you do is move it to the side. It's interesting. And then he puts the answer. And who says this whole shtickle Torah? Magen Avram. So where does he put the Magen Avram? In the Shar Tzion? That's where he should put it, right? Like every other time he brings the Magen Avram. Over here it says Magen Avram in brackets. I'm chayshish that the Mishnah Berurah is not so convinced that this Magen Avram is la halacha. And we know the cloud of the Mishnah Berurah. Whenever he's not convinced, something chashiv that the Magen Avram said, so he doesn't bring it upstairs, and then on the bottom, Shar Tzion, Magen Avram. He brings it upstairs. You should know there's a chashiv achron that said something. I'm not sure about it. That's the klal in the Mishnah Berurah. So this Mishnah Berurah, I will tell you, it's not clear to me. The whole thing is not clear. So what's clear is like this. What's clear is if it's a place where he sits, there's a heter of graf shel rei. He's hanging out there, heter of graf shel rei. Okay? If it's a place of where he mamish has like no shayches, like a Rosh Hashanah, then the fact that he walked there, there's no shayla, no heter graf shel rei. No shayla, you can't start cleaning up garbage. You don't like what the people did. They threw the garbage there. You have no heter to start taking the garbage and putting it in there and whatever. That's Rosh Hashanah. I don't buy it. No way. The middle case, a case where you drisas regel, where you walk by it, not sure, not so clear. That's how we'll leave it. Now watch. I'll make it practical, but that's what it sounds like, at least when you learn Sefer Mishnah Berurah. Now watch. For example, what happens? You have a diaper. What do you do? Now by me, I tell you all the time, most of the time the garbage we have is not muksa anyways. That's why I'm not going to refer dafka to a garbage, because most of the time the garbage isn't muksa. It has a lot more dvarim hamutarim than dvarim ha'usurim. So let's not talk about the garbage for a second. Let's talk about, you have, maybe tomorrow I'll clarify once and for all why I keep saying that aside. But let's just say the diaper. Right? Here you take the diaper, you put it in a bag, a plastic bag. You weren't zeicha to these nappy sacks, or your children are stronger than them, right? And then you say, what do you do with the diaper? So let me hear the mahalach. Most people, what they do is like this. The diaper's there, then they take it, now the bag is there. The bag smells. You don't want it over there in that room. It's going to smell the room. So what do I do? So first, there's different mahalachim. Some in Hagim have that they throw it to the door. That the sheet is like that. Who has that sheet? They just throw it to the front door, and there it is by the front door, right? Anybody have that minig? Okay, nobody has that minig. Some have the minig that they put it outside the door. They put it outside the door. Who has that minig? And they don't want to raise your hand. So what do you guys do? You throw it out the window? Nobody's raising their hand here. What do you guys do with the diaper? What? put in another plastic bag. I'm saying, but some people, they want it out of the house because, what? Sorry? Wait, nobody, wow, you guys are murdered. I wish you would have been my neighbors all those years. Wait, nobody here ever put it in the hallway? It was only, I agree, you should not. I don't think it's the nicest thing. So I'll tell you like this. There are some people, right? There are some people, it could be that right now they're burning garbage on Shmuel and Avi or wherever it's called over there, Barilan, I don't know. Right? And what they do is they take the diaper. So there's different sheets. Some throw it to the door, to the front door, just leave it there, okay? And then some put it on the other side of the door, okay? It's smelling up the house, so they put it on the other side of the door. Okay, let's go one by one. You put it by the door, and now you wake up in the morning, and it's time to go to shul, and you smell, let's say it's by the door, you smell the garbage as you walk, you smell the tzayir or whatever, right? It just gets worse with time, right? And there it is by the door, and now you say, what am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna do? And you're going to shul anyways. So you say, well, das is a graf shel rei. That's a graf shel rei because now it's smelling up the outdoor. Says that smell is also graf shel rei. So there's no problem to take it. So far, this case is easy, right? Because that's the place where I live. Nobody lives by the door. Let's say it's a door which isn't like right into your living room and it's smelling up the whole living room. But let's say every time I pass the door, I smell it. It's in whatever. That doesn't matter. I mean, if it's on the floor, you might have bigger problems. But it doesn't have to be a nappy sack or a plastic bag where it's smelling. I just want to talk about the case where it smells. If it's in a nappy sack by the door, it doesn't smell. I don't see why it's bothering anybody. Leave it alone. It's not. It won't bother you. You don't bother it. I don't leave it alone. But let's say it's in a plastic bag and it smells. And now you say to yourself, every time I walk out of this door, not that it's smelling up your whole apartment. If it's smelling up your whole apartment, that's a different choice. But let's say every time I pass the door, I'm going to have to smell this thing. Ew. And then I come back in. Ew. So that's l'ch'oira. L'ch'oira, that's the case of the Mishnah Berurah of Drisas Regel, right? And that case, the Mishnah Berurah brings upstairs, I'll call it like this, there's a makom to be mekel. Again, I'm not talking about that it smells up your entire living room or whatever. I'm saying it's by the door. The only time is when you pass the door, you go in, you go out. That means you're gonna have a graf shel rei experience over the course of 3 seconds, every time you open the door, every time you close the door, okay? Let's say that's the case. If you start telling me it's embarrassing, a neighbor, meaning you're having gas, okay, different choice. I just want to go one by one through all the cases. If that's the case, if somebody would ask me, is he allowed to take that to the garbage now? I'm telling you, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. Meaning, I'm telling you, the Mishnah Berurah is not sure. It's a case of Drisas Regel. It's a case of where you happen to walk through there and you don't have a kfiyas over there. And therefore, if you'd ask me, is it mutter? I would tell you, ulai. Is there a makom mekel? Yeah. Maybe you could be mitzaref the fact that the dogs eat the tzaya, even though I told you yesterday all this far is not like that. Okay, look at that. That's case number one. Is that crystal clear? Crystal clear. Next case. Some people, they're a little bit more inconsiderate. So what they do is, I don't want the sack of yesterday's challenge. I don't want it by my door. So they take it, they open up the door, they put it on the outside of the door. Right? So now he goes and wakes up in the morning, Shabbos morning. It's time to go to shul. It smells great in my house, right? He comes outside. People say, "What? Du hast Corona?" The whole thing smells over here. So that I guess that's a Drisas Regel. It's true, but that's a Drisas Regel that everybody's suffering from. Let's say the whole mamish, the whole hallway, everything smells, geferle, whatever, and they're giving you curses. What? So, yeah, but okay. yeah. So now you want to know, can I take, you come outside and say, okay, well, I don't want that. My neighbors should all hate me. I don't want this. So you want to know, can I take it now and bring it to the garbage? Interesting. He's bringing it to the garbage. Why? Because he doesn't want his neighbors to hate him. Interesting, right? What's that? It smells not geschmack. Let's make cases. If the whole hallway smells beseder, at the Drisas Regel, the whole thing's geferlich, mistami could be mekel. Let's say it doesn't, the whole hallway smell, but everybody that passes your apartment, it smells, right? Because on your floor it smells, right? So your neighbor is upset with you, okay. So mistama, again, this is Drisas Regel. Mistama makom be mekel. It's not so pashut, but there's a makom be mekel. I'm just showing you how you have to build the sugya. This is that. I'm just saying, but my point is like this. Let's say it doesn't smell. Some people, they get in their cup that graf shel rei, it's a heter, it's hutra, and whatever. It's not true. Even hutra doesn't hold. It's only hutra if it smells. So let's say you have a diaper by the door. It doesn't smell. It's in a nappy sack. It's not bothering anybody. Or you have a diaper outside the door and it's not bothering anybody. Doesn't smell. So, what do you say? I don't know. What? I'm saying, so when you see that, so now I'll ask another question. Wait, so now I'll ask another question to everybody here. You see a little plastic bag and it's not smelling and it's by your neighbor's door. It's mamish gefährlich, it's inihimis, whatever, that's what people do. It's not like, I'm not saying I would like you to be my neighbor, right? You understand what I'm saying? Mr. Rogers is das, but you understand, right? Was? I know, but like wrapped in a bag. You're right. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. Let's say you take the diaper, you sprawl out the diaper. Yes. So then I'm asking if the diaper is sprawled out on the floor in front of your apartment. Yes. I don't need anything about the smelling. I don't mind if everybody in the building has corona or whatever. So then it's not a problem. But here it's in a bag. It's not bothering anybody. Nobody sees it. It doesn't say on it, Rav Shalrei. Right? It just smells. It's just in a bag and it doesn't smell. No, I'm just saying my point in this conversation, everybody says, I think most people learn Rav Shalrei and they just make one big Zera Shav and one big Hutra and one big Heter and one big everything. It's not true. Sorry, it's not true. What? I'm saying I never heard of the children playing with that bag and whatever. I'm saying, what? If yes, then the bracha for some kind of cup, yes. If you're afraid that the children are going to say, what are we doing playing Adjuim? Crazy. We could be playing Zayaballs. It's like schmuck. I'm asking him, right? I won't say your name, Rabbi Adler, because I know that, these types of things, people don't like when their names are being said. What? Sorry? So each case you have to done. Like, in a bathroom, a person spends more time, right? There's lots of Muslims in there. It spends more time. So it's true. If you did in the bathroom, you change the diaper, and now it's in there, now it smells. So yes, I'll let you take it out and go to the front. Now when you put it, because that's a place, then you didn't realize it was going to smell. Now all of a sudden it smells there or whatever. So then, now you'll be able to take it further. That's okay. Each time is a matter of a gashrei. Now I'm saying you just have to be, the reason I'm going so methodically through this is like sometimes it's just, I don't know. I was reading in some kitz's farm and trying to figure out cases and whatever. I saw cases and I was like, we really have to work through this. I saw a case they bring from Rabbi and Kallus. Now tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. It's unrelated, but it's related to my point. They bring over there. Let's say you see over there a live mouse. Now I don't know what they mean. I think they have to be talking the way I saw it was brought down. I looked inside Rabbi Nissen on the 138th page. Rabbi Nissen is talking about you found a live mouse. Now it has to be l'chayra that what? Yeah, no. So I'm saying it has to be l'chayra that already it was like trapped or something, because otherwise you're going to be over on Seder if you pick it up or if whatever. So and Elamai, you're pushing it out with a broom. So then anyways, that might be tilted outside. I'm not sure what the case is. I think he's talking about that it was trapped. Okay? So now, okay, by a show of hands, who says, there she is. There's Mickey on the mini, mini. And there she is on the little, sticky thing over there, right? And she's looking at you and you're looking at her. And she has a little piece of cheese in her mouth, right? And everyone's looking at each other, and there it is. There it is. Okay. So is it Mias? What? Yeah. Wait. Is it Mias? Who says yes? Who says yes? Who says no? Breakfast. Wait, so it's unbelievable. No, Chavmayr to say this. Reb Nissen in the 100th, I thought to say for a minute, Reb Nissen in the 138th page of their writes, he says, not everything is a Graf Shalrei. Not everything's a Graf Shalrei. He says, the Gemara said an Achber Meis. An Achber Meis, Nemtach Avek, what did Rav Ashi say? Take Mickey and shake him Avek, right? Threw him out of the house, right? But he says, an Achber Chai? He says, an Achber Chai is a Hafra. It's a Hafra. Now, this is the same Reb Nissen. What did Reb Nissen hold on page 138? Reb Nissen said, like Reb Shlomo Zalman, he said, Imis is enough to be matter. That means a live rat is not even unpleasant. Verstehst? Yeah? Yeah? I don't know. I don't know if in Bnei Brak, I don't know. Is anybody here from Bnei Brak originally or something? What? No, see. In Bnei Brak, do they have pet mice or something? No, I don't think so either. This is hard to understand. The fact that none of us understand this is enough gemina l'halacha, because I think for all of us, it would be an unpleasant situation, ve'ulai even moyes, right? And most of you would be on top of the table telling your wife, I'm not getting it, you do it, right? Most of you, right? Most of you. So, yeah. What's not gemina? Yeah, trap. Of course they have trap. The whole Gemara in Shabbos is talking about trapping. Of course the trap have mice. The whole Shulchan Aruch and Simon Zayin is talking about trapping mice. What's going on? Yeah, you'll be on the table telling the buffer, you do it, first year buffer, right? You, right? It seems like no, the reason I'm telling you this is that's why I'm being so methodical case by case, because I'm not going to be saying on anything I read now, because we have to one by one. So the diaper case we did, the mouse case, it's Shangatin, right? The mice, das is das. Let me get weiter. What? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What? Yeah, no, fine. He says it's not doing to Seder. Okay. No, but he's not saying like only the only time there's a graph is when it's a reach. Well, that's not true. Nobody ever said that. No. I don't understand Reb Nissen. There's no one in this room that understands Reb Nissen except for Chaim Shmuel, right? Except for gourmet breakfast. What? Sorry?
It's not something people have mice as pets. Nobody feeds chocolate to the doorstep. People have mice as pets. People have mice as pets. I know people.
The guys that don't have mice for pets find it very difficult. Wait, as a matter of fact, Reb Moshe is Zechron Levracha. Reb Moshe, I found, where did I find Reb Moshe? Reb Moshe is in Hey Chaf Aleph. He says, Tali Lefi Ha'adam. Everything is Tali in the person. So that means, for Chaim Shmuel, it's not going to be Muksa. Not going to be Muksa at all. For other people in this room, what? No, you could give her chizik and explain to her. It's just, what did they tell us in the Haim? What did they tell us about the bees? They thought, no, the bees, if you move, they're afraid of you. All the interesting things, yeah? Yeah, what's that stuff? And the same thing, the dog, no, his bark is worse than yeah. Oh, yeah. So you explain to her that a mouse, what are you talking about? They're cute creatures. And Varaya, Mickey, mit Minnie, mit the ganzen Spruche, and that's what are you talking? A wet nappy will be the same shot. A wet nappy is like a diaper, right? A wet diaper, the same type of shayla. If does it smell? Does it not smell? Whatever, all the same. Right? You'll have to don. My point is, my point is that today we're probably finishing Graf Sharei. My point is, you're on your own now. You have to figure out what bothers, what's nias, what bothers you, and not only that, not only you have to figure out what bothers you. You have to figure out that Beseder, it bothers me, but you have to figure out if it's outside the house, right? What exactly is bothering me? The 1 second that I walk out of the house, when I see it and it doesn't even smell and whatever, because I know what it is. Who gives you a right at that point? Take it to the garbage. I'm borrower that there are people that they know there's a heter out there of Graf Sharei. Everybody said, I'm borrowed there's people, they know there's a heter of Graf Sharei. They know there's like a Xeris Grace Akosiv. They know Tzoya Xeris Kosiv. They have in a bag outside the door, and they know you're not taking, throw in the garbage. It's like, it's not true. Each case you get done. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying, you have to each case. I'll give you an example. In my house, it's mutter. I'll tell you why. In my house, it's mutter. Why? Because if I take out my house leads to an outside. So if I put it outside the door, so there I'm not bothering anybody, and the cats love me for it. Right? So in my house, it's mutter gomer that once it's over. If I would put it out by the front door, I would be allowed, there's a moment, I would be allowed to now go and take it to the garbage, because otherwise the cats are going to rip through the bag, and then it's going to be it's going to be, right? Now the question is, how does this work? Do I have a right to take it? Let's say, this happens, you're going to mincha or something. So your wife says, okay, here's the diaper, just get it out, it smells or whatever. So now you take it. You're not going yet. So you just take it. It's in your hand. You want to get it out of the house part. You take it and put it in the front door. So now you got it out of the house. And now by the front door, you don't want to leave it because the cat is going to come. And then you're going to move it again. Is that allowed? Probably. I don't see why not. I mean, you're allowed to get it out of the house because it's a shmeke farlich. So mitzad that I had to Graf Sharei. And then I don't want to leave it here because I'm going to have a bigger Graf Sharei and whatever. And I'm also going to have a whole, it's going to be a whole chassan of these cats in a minute once they find out what's going on over here. So That's also probably mutter, right? Maybe it's better to try and do it all at once, but that's fine. You know, that's probably true also. The whole thing of Gav Shavei is a heter, you're carrying muksa. So it's true, you should probably try to avoid it, but that's basically, you're going to have to be dining. You have to dine. Sorry? So, yeah, what? There's two voices. Which one? Hagoy. Yeah. Chav Gimel. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, the scaring the kids. But that doesn't matter because it's on Shabbos. You can't designate. If you keep the diaper from before Shabbos. No, again, it doesn't work like that. Now it has in it tzaya. So now it became a basis of the tzaya. On Shabbos, it became a basis of the tzaya. What? Come again? That's not a normal thing to take a diaper and use it to scare children. There you go. Okay.
If you're a guest by somebody else.
If you're a guest?
And they leave the bath.
Yeah.
You don't need yours. But then they're going to have to throw it out.
So what's the shayla?
You have to take it out with you to the Rabbi.
Can I take out their?
No, you take your baby there.
Ah.
You don't leave your dirty diaper with them.
That could be a grab right? Yeah.
Not disturbing anybody.
Why not disturbing?
Same with all that one.
That could be. I don't know. You mean they have like a whole diaper collection? Maybe like your friend, right? They have like a whole diaper collection over there. So why would you take it out? It doesn't bother them. Forget it. It's just going to add to the ambiance, right? Why? Because your smell is different. Well, that's not it. The head of Gavshal Ray is not because he's not my shlak shamish. He doesn't. He cares. The guy who's taking out 5 diapers. He cares if it's a 6. Yes. What? What? Is it? Okay. So then, yeah, fine. So, okay. Let's hold off on Chaz. 1 second. Let me get through a few things here. Now, basically, I have like this. I have a few cases that I saw. Now, from this point, the cases we're going to don are all not mefurish. I couldn't find these things mefurish in Mishabru's. Now we have to like work. Let's work. Now, but this start is, I guess we're all equal. That's what we always try to do. Now we're all equal. Let's try to work this out. So I saw like this. I saw there's a sefer, the Shalmei Yehuda, in the 106th page. He brings down in the kitchen. Of course, there's no heter of Graf Shalrei. And I saw another sefer that brings this down like it's the Aseres Adibris. Yeah, because of Poiskim that there's no heter of Graf Shalrei in the kitchen. Does anybody understand this? Does anyone understand this? So wait, let's see. Now, it at least got me to thinking. The way it's written over there is that the kitchen is just like dreadful. Fashmek the mokim gefährlich. The whole thing smells like, ooh. Right? I don't know. And also then I saw one sefer writes because it's always dirty. I saw one place that writes because nobody's in the kitchen. It's mind-boggling. I don't know. So pashtis, yes, there is a heter if you have a diaper in the kitchen for sure. But it got me to think, at least, I don't know what the sefer means, I must admit. And then I saw Moshe Sternbach also added a knetch over here that got me a little bit to think. Let's try and figure this out. I mean, there's no shaila that if you have in there a diaper, or you have something that smells of garbage itself, go in the kitchen. It's not just a mokum drisis regal. People hang out in the kitchen. People have to prepare in the kitchen. It takes 45 minutes to prepare the shalshudas. It takes an hour to prepare the lunch and whatever. So people are there. There's no shaila if something is bothering you, an ekeldik and whatever. There could be a heter of gavsharei in the kitchen. Okay. The question is though, is that let's not every case. Watch. I bring my plate to the kitchen. I put it on the counter. On the counter, I put on it it's got on it a plate. It has bones and whatever, okay? And shells, I don't know, because the bones we said maybe. There's dogs, whatever, okay? So let's take shells, eggshells and whatever. So you have eggshells here. Give me a lot of muksezachen, that'll be normal in the kitchen. Eggshells, seeds, right? A lot of times you're cleaning up the table, you take it, right? And sometimes the garbage is in the living room and the whatever, and that's how it goes. So people just bring stuff in and they put it on the counter. So now what do you have on the counter? You have give me all real muktzah stuff. I don't want to get involved in anything, right? You have eggshells, right? So peels, you might have a heter because maybe there's dogs in the neighborhood. Maybe. Right? I think the dogs like the peels, like that, right? What else? You got eggshells, you got this. Maybe you have peels and you have a place where there's no dogs. You have muktzah there. Well, yeah, okay. Well, you're not putting on the counter, right? The counter, the things you're putting on the counter. You have a sach, dreadful looking things on the counter. Okay, and why did you take it in off of the living room table? Because Graf Sharei. Now you put it in the kitchen. Now, It's not so pashut. I mean, the sefer is not up for. I don't know what he meant. I must admit, the way it's written there is there's no heter of graf sharei in the kitchen. It's not so pashut, right? If I say your kitchen, what does it look like before you clean it? Your kitchen could be one entire full 24-hour period for sure, where it looks geferlich, right? Does anybody not like that? If not, you really got to be normal. OCD. I'm saying, if there's it's a normal thing that a kitchen should look like that after 24 hours, and then it's a normal thing to also clean it. That's a normal thing. But you understand what I'm saying? So now for sure, if you are makbid gomer and whatever, then you might be in this, you have the heter anyways. I'm not talking to you. And Hanami, if this person, his kitchen always has to be clean and it always has to be this, and he can't bear the kitchen not being clean and b'chulei. It's a versteht we saw already. What did the Rabbi tell us? He based it on the Ramon Simon Beit Shain Test and Seat base. That it's moyes di day, and you might have a din of an istinus. And if you're an istinus and Nevada, it could be, and it's certainly inis, and certainly this, and moyes, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not okay with that. But let's say you're somebody that leaves your kitchen, for 24 hours sometimes, right? Is there anybody in this room that's like that it could be messy in the kitchen for quite some time? I think so. So for that person, now it's all in the kitchen. Does he have a right now to take the plate and throw it into the garbage straight? Or not. Assuming it's muksa, I don't want to get involved. If it's not muksa, you have 10,000 other terem we spoke about, right? But assuming it's muksa, so what are you cleaning up the muksa? What are you doing? So for this person, and you have to remember this, it's always good to take a fork, put it on the plate. Remember, we spoke about if there's a fork on the plate, it anyways doesn't become a basis. And then you'll go to the garbage, and then you'll use the fork to scrape it off. It's in your hand. Okay, once the muksa is in your hand, that I'm a little bit masupik about. How does that work? When the fork was in the plate, a little bit masupik about it. When the fork was in the plate, right? So then at that point, it was muksa. It was just muksa with a heter, right? Now when I take off the fork, I just made it that I'm holding muksa. Till now I wasn't. What? Yeah, okay. It gets a little difficult sometimes, right? You could. I'm okay with that for sure. So if you have what you'll do is, this is what I do sometimes when I have this issue and I'm not sure, I'll put on a dirty plastic fork. That was I was about to say. See, Rabbi Adler, now I can say your name not in a bad way, in a weird way, right? I'll take a plastic fork, which is going in the garbage anyways, right? And now I make sure there's something mutter on the plate. Look, I could hear this. It's not up in front. It's not okay. Again, if you're someone makbid gomer in your kitchen, it's mutter for you anyways. You're an istinus. If you're somebody who has the bones on the plate, it's not muksa anyways. V'chulei. That's something very important. Sorry? Excuse me, what? Sorry? I hear, but how can you say that you have a heter of a graf sharei? Shabbos, you have a heter of graf sharei, it's moyes, it's inis. I mean, your kitchen always looks like this, What? Again, you have to go to the emes, like the kishkis of the mensch, right? Or the froi. You have to get the charayin to the kishkis. Why are you cleaning it? Are you cleaning because you want to clean it? Be honest. God knows the emes. You have to know, are you cleaning it because you want it to be clean? Which is, I think, a lot of times the answer. Or you're cleaning it because you can't bear to be in this place when I'm going to be making the shal shir. I can't bear to be in this place. It's inis. Maybe. Each person has to dan, though. And it's not a pashut thing. Hashem knows the emes. Hashem knows the emes. There's no games. He knows the emes. That's it. There's no games. What? Sorry? Hashem knows the emes. What? Okay. It could be that if I need that makim on the counter, right? So then we said you could put on the fork or whatever and pick it up. Well, it's true, right? You should point that out. When I was saying before, you should put the fork on the plate and whatever. It's not just like stam pashit. It also has to be that I want the makim on the counter. But I guess that's nish keferla, because once you're cleaning up and things like that, you're usually going to be at the counter. You're going to want eventually to put things on the counter. The fact that you're not putting something on the counter this minute doesn't, as long as you'll be putting something on the counter on Shabbos. Okay. You could put a fork, technically. I mean, maybe not, because then it itself becomes mias, maybe. I'm not sure. What? Okay, let's see. I don't know if it works by a diaper. It'll work by these things. Pashas by a diaper. Maybe it itself becomes mias. Now, next shaila. Shaila is again, these are shailas that didn't come clear in the Paiskim. Can I move muksa in order to I guess the example, can I move muksa? Is the heter of graf shalrei to move the graf shalrei because the graf shalrei is muksa? Or can I move muksa in order to prevent the graf shalrei situation? And that's to deal with the graf shalrei. The example I'm thinking is like you want to take dirt, that's muksa, and you want to cover somebody, a cat went to, the dog went to the bathroom outside your thing. You want to take dirt and just cover the place or something like that, right? Okay, you can't cover the dirt into dirt or it's going to be a problem of chayrish or whatever. Let's say, you want to cover up somebody, Purim, it might say Purim and somebody threw up and you want to cover the whole ground over there with, dirt or something like that. You want to cover the outside or inside or whatever with something that's muksa. That's example. It's a good shayla. You got to move muksa for graf sharei. The heter of graf sharei, we only found that you can move the graf sharei, the muksa. Maybe Chazal made it, it's a special heter, Rabbi said. It's a special covenant bris. So maybe Chazal said you can move the muksa because the covenant bris. Who said they said you can move a different muksa, the Magam covenant bris? Who thinks it's a good shayla? Who thinks it's a good shayla? Okay, it's definitely a good shayla. How do I know it's a good shayla? Because if Shlomo Zalman writes something that I'm kimat in all the Shlomo Zalmans, I don't remember this lashon. He says, my whole life I was misupik about this shayla. That's what he writes. He writes in the Shmir Shabbos in the 22nd parak, in the 24th ice. He says over there, Kol Yomai, he was misupik about this shayla. Kol Yomai, his whole life, or some Zalman. What? Sorry? What's the right from the next sieve? Anything that you can avoid, everyone agrees. That would be a raya that you try to avoid it. What's the case? He says you can't even do it. Let's see. Maybe you have a raya. Let's see. Which sieve you? Hey? Okay, let's see. No. He's talking in a place of where it's not a graf sharei, like it's at the end of the chutzner or something. It's in a place, it's not a right. He's talking about an oifen where you don't have that to show graf sharei. I think the Aruch HaShulchan speaks out first anyways, otherwise b'chlal. But that's not right. No, so it's a good shayla. What's the mishmur? What's the right? So, that's covered up bris. That's not a heter, that's graf sharei. He says that's covered up bris. Because I won't have a mukim to go to the bathroom because it's blocked by all the tzaya inside the graph. That's a different heter. It's a heter of covered up bris. It's the same heter in Shinyud Beis that a person is stuck in a toilet and we let him cut the toilet paper with a shinoi or something because it covered up bris to go to the bathroom or something like that. So says any raya? I couldn't find the raya. I looked very hard.
What's the exact case?
So it's like this. It's like this. Rabbi Blumenthal's right. By us.
If something's not movable, it's the only way to.
Wait, slow. Let me explain. The case that we are usually going to have, that Rabbi Blumenthal's right. Let me explain. The case we usually are going to have, I think, is Pashid Aser. Let me explain. Let's say your garbage is muksa. I told you 1,000 times, I don't know if it is, but let's say your garbage is muksa. What do you have in the garbage? It's a new garbage bag, and all you have in the garbage is eggshells, okay? So the garbage is muksa, okay? Or all you have in the garbage is a diaper, okay? And that's your muksa, okay? That's your garbage. Now, you have on your table all types of dreadful things, and you want to clean up the table, right? Let's say you have shells, or you have a whole shell festival over there, whatever, right? Real muksa, emistic muksa, or whatever. Or you have bones and there's no dogs and whatever. Grada, you should know, Rabbi say, even the bones, it's I'd probably be machmir l'chatchila, right? Who knows if we have dogs, we don't have dogs. So let's say you're taking on these things of muksa. But why you let him move it? Because Mishbru and Simon Sivkot and Kuftetz Vav told us that, a lot of bones is already a graph. You have tons of bones together and whatever, it's already a graph. So now, I don't believe there's anybody who's going to say, I'm allowed to bring the garbage, which is muksa, to the table, to take off the muksa, which I'm going to have to move anyways, and then take the garbage back. Like, why? Shaykhis. That no one said. That's unnecessary movement of the tiltal. That's unnecessary. I saw one sefer that was talking about Shlomo Zalman Safek, and he was discussing this shayla. That's a toyas. That's about it now. No one's going to let you do unnecessary tilt. There's no shayla in the world. Again, if your garbage has a bottle in it and this and that, so now it's tiltul minat sad, and you're moving a davar aser and mutter together, tiltul minat sad for the tzarech of the garbage, I need the mukim, that's okay. I'm okay with that. And then you'll be able to take it and throw it out, and then you'll be able to bring it back and whatever. I'm okay with that. But if you're bringing a muksa in order to put in muksa, in order to move back the muksa, there's a lot of extra tiltulim over there. On this shayla of Shlomo Zalman, so I have an interesting raya. Should I tell you my raya? What? I have an interesting raya. I didn't find the raya in the Mishmur. Anybody has the raya in the Mishmur? Just tell me. No, I didn't find the raya in the Poiskin. I found the raya in a Mincha Shabbos. I always quote Mincha Shabbos. The sefer written 100 years ago he has an interesting thing, which is it's our next Shaila. It looks like we'll have to end with this Shaila. A few more things. We're almost done with Grad. The first minute, Rabbi said. You guys go fight, no games. Right? Well, we also have to talk about Einois and Graf. All right, 10 minutes. I'll put him like this. Listen closely. It's a Geshmaka case. He talks about the Mincha Shabbos. What happens if you have there's a new Shaila, okay? Now we're all equal, so we have to down these shots. What happens if you have? Can I avoid a graf shalrei? Can I move a muksa before it becomes already a graf shalrei? Or do I have to wait till I suffer? Okay, that's a Shaila. Can I avoid a graf shalrei situation? What? Like my case outside. So you heard from me already that I'm makel on this Shaila, right? That was the case. The case was I'm afraid the cat is going to come and he's going to find inside there the little anshel fragnish, right? And then it's going to be layudim. Okay, so the chayr says, what do you think? You think what? The shaila is that maybe Chazal said that the only time you can move a graf sharei is when it's a graf sharei. What? I don't know. Maybe it's muksa. What will be a case? My case will be the case of the tzaya. I'll tell you the case the Mincha Shabbos says. Mincha Shabbos says that there's a cat, a feline, that came into your house, right? And he says, and you see this feline, and he's been eating a lot, and he looks like he's either pregnant or he's trying to get as I get you. So he's about to go to the bathroom. So Mincha Shabbos, not me. I don't make up the story, right? So the Mincha Shabbos says, so now you want him out of the house because he's about to go to the bathroom. I'll go over your table. It's going to be gefahrlich, right? That's what he says. So he says, you're allowed to push him out of the house. Now, you got to worry about Seder and whatever and things like that. Whatever. I'm not getting involved now. You have to deal with the problem of why it's not sod and trapping and whatever, right? I guess the only way to do it is you have to figure this out because what's the problem? If I'm just taking a broom and pushing him out, right? So then the most it is tilt him in a tzad, that he shouldn't mess up my muck and whatever. No. I'm not sure exactly what the case is, I must admit. Huh? Couldn't get him out. The only way is to pick him up and to push it, No, but then when you pick him up, then it's going to be a problem with Seder. How are you going to do that? What? Not a cat. I don't know. That's the big case. It's Seder and a cat. What?
It's an old cat.
Okay, very good. That's a better case. A domesticated. Thank you. That's a better case. It's a domesticated cat. It's the same idea, but it's a domesticated cat. It's a male. It's not sod. Okay. So now I want to take him, right? I got to get him out of there in order that he should be able to not go to the bathroom on my floor. Not cool. So he says it's mutter. Listen to what he writes. I like this. He says it's mutter. It's mutter. He says it's mutter. I see two things from this Mincha Shabbos. Okay? Yeah, everyone see the case? The case says you have a domesticated cat. He's about to go to the bathroom. You say, I'm an ut. Take him. Get him out of there. Okay? I see two things from the Mincha Shabbos. Who tells me what two things I see from the Mincha Shabbos? So first of all, I see that even though the graf shalrei is not here yet, he talks about this case. Even though the graf shalrei is not here yet, I'm allowed to prevent a graf shalrei from coming, right? What else do I see here? What? The cat is not a graf. I see another thing. I see the answer to Shlomo Zalman. I see I'm allowed to move a muksa, which is not the graf, in order to save a graf. You understand what's going on here? I see two things from this Mincha Shabbos. Okay, Mincha Shabbos is not, he wasn't the Meshabura and the Aruch HaShulchan. I'm just saying, when you see that somebody learned the sugya who was a very big man, he took on like this. That again, the idea, I can move a cat, she's muksa, even though I'm not moving the graf. That's already a heter. That's a chiddush. You're allowed to move muksa. The heter of graf is not limited to moving the graf. That's one. And number two, what else do I see? I see also, I don't have to wait till there's an actual graph over here. I don't have to wait till there's a graph. What? No. She's about to make a graph. What? I don't think so. I gotta give you an example. Like for example, you have like let's say you have after. I don't need these things. Is it normal that you can have like just like the bones of the fish? The bones of the fish, right? What, and they start smelling, or what does it work? They don't start smelling? Now I want to find the case of something that right now, because Rabbi Spire is asking me, most of our cases are at the point right now it's not muksa. Right? So then anyways, it's not a problem, right? Let's say I have fish, I ate fish, And now you know if you leave it around, it's going to smell. So for shteitzach, you're allowed to move it because not muksa now. Because there's still fish left, or there's still bones left, but bones aren't going to smell. Give me a case. Give me a good case that brings down. What? The milk bags with a few drops. Right now it's not muksa. Okay, I want to say that, and the bag, even I'll agree, saying that's a bag that nobody would dream of reusing and whatever. Okay, I hear that. That's not a bad case, and it'll smell. That's not bad. It's not a bad case. So if you this, you'll be allowed to move it now. Give me another case. That's a good case. What? Okay, I can't say that's muksa. Muksa. What? It's not muksa. I mean, if somebody doesn't know, But again, usually something that like the fruit is like half off is usually still. It's not muksa yet, usually. You know what I mean? Like, it's usually not muksa yet. Huh? So let's see. Raw fish. Wait, slow. Raw fish that fell. That's not bad. But for a non-sushi raw fish, right? What's an example of a non-sushi raw fish? What did we say the other day? What? Trout. What was it? Sea bags. Okay, good. So you have, what? Chicken, we weren't so happy about either, but chicken, b'makom hefsim ruba was makla. But fish, no, just use trout. No, fish, chicken, b'makom hefsim ruba, we had the taz. But let's say trout. No, but trout, we also had the taz, also we had hefsim ruba. Okay, let's see, slow. It'll be another heter, right? So I have over here a piece of raw fish. Well, this is a great case. Like you opened up the freezer. This happens sometimes. You open up the freezer, and then you come the next morning, and you see, there's a dead fish on the floor. What happened? And you realize when you open up the freezer, one of them fell out. Right? Must have been flapping around, but now he's dead, and he's already thawing out. Okay, so she's dead. Okay, now it's raw. So the Taz wasn't happy about raw fish because the cats don't eat it. I told you today the cats do eat it. Okay, there's a muckum a little bit to be made, but now you have a new heter. It's about to smell anyways, right? It's about to smell anyways. So then I'll be able, and what are you doing with it? You're throwing it out because by tonight it's going to be gefarlich, right? You realize this, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, by tonight it's going to be 8 o'clock at night, and this thing is going to be fregnesh, this thing, you're not bringing tchisa mesim on this guy. So the this, you'll be allowed to pick it up and throw it out. Again, it's probably better to do tiltum and atzad. You're probably anyways going to do tiltum and atzad, right? Most people aren't picking it up with their hand. The reason here maybe is because like it's slippery and, it's all juicy and goopy and what? A pet that dies. Okay, here we go. He has a pet. He has let's say, he has like a koala bear, right? That dies, right? No, like a normal case, like he has something that dies, like an animal or whatever. And what's so funny? The regular, no, but that's already usually a graph, no? I mean, for him, it's not a graph. It's like he loves it. And also, the koala bears are like cute and sweet and yummy, But no, I don't mean like a bear. I mean like a real one. I mean like a real one. No, a real one. And now he died. He died on Shabbos. What? No. I'm talking about a real koala bear that you own and died. It died. Okay, it got hit by a truck that came through the guy's. You guys are so difficult sometimes, right? Tana's dead, and there's the dead bear, right? So now at this point, right now, no, but it's already imut, no? It's already moist, no? Dead bear, he's got like what? Because you love him. So you can't say it's moist. No, it's dead. You don't love him when he's dead. He's not cute when he's dead. Oh my goodness, what happened today? Oh, you go overtime. What? You get my point. Everyone gets my point that if it would be a case of where it's not moist right now, because right now you're mourning and you miss him and love him and whatever, so you'd be allowed to take him and throw him to the cats and things like that. You'll be allowed to throw him out because it's about to get pretty moist, right? It's a dead koala bear. You imagine what? That's something else. Okay, so and right now it's not muksa. If it's muksa, that's what we're saying. The Mincha Zman says, my whole life I was misapik about this shaila, and Mincha Shabbos gives us straight up that it's mutter. Straight up, he says the heter of Gav Shalrei is to move muksa in order to prevent this uncomfortable situation. Mr. Shem, we'll continue tomorrow, boy. What about